Hello, Club Cult. Welcome. What's up, Purgatories? Blurp, blurp, blurp. Hello, Mr. Bean. That was like a big lazy lion lay down. That wasn't a cat, that was a lion. Oh, stuff goes on the chair. Where's Gunther? Is he back in the... what's it? The baby carriage? No. Gunther! I trusted you. Where are you? Oh, you're in the bed. He was hiding behind his twin. I didn't know where you was, Beeb. Little goober. Little baby goober. It's a little loud. Let's hop into Discord right quick and then bebop into some games. I think we have a boss in Doom tonight, and I accept my fate. I accept it. Why don't I just move that over there? That's easier. There we go. Beautiful. Ah, the fire children. Been so focused on just loving on Void. I haven't taken many pictures of her. I'm gonna start. Welcome the man who sold the world. Welcome. When you guys hop into the Discord, please do not forget to green check them their rules right there. And then I can reel you in offline. A thank you. A thank you. A thank you very much. What is the baby girl doing? I don't know if we need to see her on camera. She's hanging out in tent number 2. She only likes me in tent number 2. In tent number 1, she was a spicy girl today. We gotta work on that. She must accept me. She can do it. Holy fuck, why is my computer angry? Why? We just worked on this. We just fixed this. We just corrected this issue. That, do that, do that. That. It's like 1,000 that's to do. That. Should please you, computer. I'm going to manually fan it. So much fun when we do that. think I know part of why. I clogged you up with files earlier, didn't I? Little baby computer. Welcome, Cygenics. How you doing tonight? Happy Friday! Happy Friday! You voted! You are awesome! Where'd my voting sticker go? I did this last awards season. It ran away. I made a new one. Do I have both of them over here? I do! You get double the extra credit today. Thank you so much. You are awesome. My computer is not, but you are awesome. What was I just in the... Oh, file. Remove. Remove. Empty. Recycle bin. It's garbage day up in this bitch. Just a little happier. Manually fan it a little bit more, and then it should be fine. This is like the olden days of computers, but not really, because they used to not be this powerful. Although, I mean, I guess there's fans in server rooms, or at least there used to be. Maybe they're more sophisticated now. I'm thinking like many years ago. Many moons ago. Hovering between 1 degree that makes me happy and 1 degree that makes me unhappy, which means I think everything is fine again. There are still fans in server rooms. Hey! Some things never change. My dad was an IT guy. Well, he's been an IT guy for like a bajillion things. But the longest term place that he worked outside of like ComEd was this accounting firm, and he was the IT guy for all of that. And I remember being in the server room with him, and it was like... I don't know, from what I remember, it almost feels like walking into like a cigar room case, kind of, but like everything's blowing. Full of fans. I am just my own personal server room. I am the fan. I serve. Do they use cooling liquid? They want to exchange the heat with air somewhere. That makes sense. They're big systems. I mean, you don't want that shit to get hot. Big firms, they got in-house IT. I don't know. I wonder. I don't want to dox my dad. I don't think it would even matter, but... I guess so? CPAs, consultants, and wealth advisors. So it was more than just an accounting firm, I think. I think my dad worked there until I was in like 4th grade, so this is a long, long time ago in a land very far away. They're one of the... They're ranked as one of the nation's top 20 certified public accountant and consulting firms as of November 1st of last year. And that's all I really care about looking at that again. They were so nice to me there. I would always help the office ladies. Well, I don't know how helpful I was, but they always gave me a bunch of papers to shred. I'm an experienced paper shredder. If anyone needs any papers shredded, I'm really good at feeding them into the machine and not clogging it up. That was a big sound. Alright, we may be fans of Serena, but I'm not a fan of that. If only we helped make the computer cooler. It's just Club Cult coming in. That's why it's getting so hot in here. It's getting hot in here. Oh wait, that was the prior stream. Are you okay? That was really... I've never heard you make that sound. Did you snoot? He snooted out his booger. Where's tissues? You snooted your boogie. You snooted it. Good job. Anyway. Oh, good boy. We've been working on that one. Okay. Gunther, who does not like to be fucked with. We got it. He's such a pug nose. I'm trying to get that booger out of his nose for like 3 days now. Smaller accounting companies will contract out IT work. That makes sense. I know he worked at other places. He worked at other accounting firms. He worked at setting up gas station computer equipment for a while. I don't even know what that was. He worked at libraries. He worked for a consulting firm, I think, called Tech Systems. And they just kept shooting him out everywhere. My dad retired like 12 times before he actually retired. Like, actually. He would retire for like a year, and then he'd be bored, and then he'd go back to work. Like, just... Celebrating boogers and poops. Ah, the zoo life. Yeah. That's just mom life. Oh my god. Why is that... Did I turn off the light in there? I'm batting 1,000 tonight. Was his job union? I recently found out that when he first started at ComEd, before he was an IT guy, he was union then. But I don't think so further on. But I know he has either, like, what is it, like supplemental retirement and supplemental insurance from my mom, because my mom was in the teachers union. And somehow that carried over to him. I don't know if it still does now. The retirement part, yes. But maybe not the insurance one, because he's on Medicaid or Medicare. Whichever one is for old people. I can never remember which one. But I know we had insurance through my mom when I was a kid. Shout out to mom. Teachers do get pretty good benefits. It doesn't make up for like the massive pay cut that they take most times. But they do have pretty good benefits. They want to keep the educators going. In fact, I feel like teachers are... How do I want to phrase this? I feel like they get the most leniency with maternity leave time, which really isn't common anywhere, and that's pretty cool. Because anytime I remember a teacher getting knocked up, like, they were gone for like a good 6 months. Well, summer also happened, so maybe it wasn't exactly 6 months, but it was a chunk of time. For a full semester, I know my art teacher was off. Because we had a substitute art teacher, and she was kind of mean, but like she taught us a lot, but she was kind of mean. I didn't like her, but she let me take bathroom breaks, which was nice. She was pretty stingy on those, and she let me take them. But I was quiet. I was in my little keep to myself era then. I wasn't a yapper like I was in grade school. Do you know how the school year works? It's probably easier just to have them knock out for the rest of the term. Yeah. I think it works out best that way. I mean, it sucks to not get paid in the summer, but... Unless you are on, you know, baby duty. Baby watch. You can go get a summer job or something. My godmother always worked at like a different little, I don't know, just like counter job things. And then she coached softball in the summer. I think she still does. And you get paid for that. It makes me wish I knew sports. I'm not a good athlete, but I feel like I'd be a good coach. And that makes me wish I'd learned things about sports, even though I sucked at them. I feel like I would have fun with that. I'm gonna see why her camera is so dark. I don't know why. Ah! That's there. Surprise! Cow surprise! It's not helpful to not see how this reflects. Boy, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. That probably looked creepy. I put my face in the camera. I don't know why it's doing night mode. The light is on in there. I don't know. She's got her face all up in this one though. I dropped that camera. Wrong phone. The other day and it turned pink. And now I guess it just wants to be black and white. Like that's cool too. There's little baby big head. What in the baby making music is this? That and country music are very annoying sounds to me. I don't want it. It's not hype. No, we're not playing Doom 3. It's Doom Eternal. Wrong. Strong games. See, I really don't know if that's just muscle memory or like dyslexia. It makes me wonder. It really makes me wonder. Could probably coach like Pee-wee sports. Don't need too much knowledge. It's more like daycare. Yeah, that's true. You just set up little spots on the floor and like run around this and run. You more run drills than like actually practice things. I could do T-ball. I'm good at T-ball. My dad built me a little T-ball thing when I was a kid. But I think they have boys to coach boys stuff and girls to coach girls stuff. And I don't know if girls have T-ball. Maybe T-ball, softball? I don't know. I don't know about this world. You mean you don't like the twang? The guitar is nice in most, but the twang and the lyrics really just irritate me. I can't do it. There's a couple songs that I like, but not many. Not many. Gangster rap and rock and EDM girly. Post Malone is having an interesting crossover era though. It's movable too. I don't know if I like it or not, but I can scream along to it in the car. This is gonna be bad. I feel like I'm forgetting something. What am I forgetting? Void. Games. Discord. Computer is happier again. That's on the side. Slappa. Gunther. Gunther moved. Where'd you move to? Oh, you're next to me. Okay. Voya. Door. Zoo. I don't know. Brush my hair, maybe? Post Malone is just interesting, period. There was one of his like first songs from when he first started making music, like as a teenager, that came up on my Twitter timeline earlier, and it was interesting. See if I can find it. There we go. I'm not laughing at him. I'm laughing because I'm not brave enough to do any of this. So I am amused for mostly that reason. Like, in some ways he's completely changed, and in other ways he hasn't changed at all. I know! Those are shorter shorts than I wear. That's shorter than the skirt I've got on. His legs are, like, so clean and, like, hairless, too. If I didn't shave yesterday, I'd be jealous. Maybe he was a swimmer. Maybe he did. So it was posted 9 years ago, but I feel like it's more than 9 years ago. I really appreciate, like, the homage to Chicago style with the extremely short shorts and the Letterman jacket. Oh wait, it's like a bowling shirt. I thought the sleeves were rolled up. Like, it's so dorky, but he's still so cool. I can't even hate. Boy, you're on the piano. I can be a hater for that. You're not supposed to be on the piano. Oh, what's the artist this is reminding me of right now? It's the same vibe but completely different music. Young what? It'll come to me. Just power and doing what you want with no fear of being judged. Oh, fuck yeah. Feel powerful. Damn, boy. I feel powerful every day. Why don't you love me? He's like, I do love you, mama. Young Lean, I think. You used to be sweet like bubblegum, now you're no fun. That's what Voya says about me. Ah! Need your nails done, boy. I wish he would redo this song, actually. It's really good. There you go. Don't you love me? Why don't you love me?
So tell me why, girl.
That shirt is still his style. I think it was Young Lean. This is the song that it reminds me of for whatever reason. I guess he's not wearing a vest. In my head, he was still wearing a vest in there.
Young Lean, shouty. Emotional boys, give up the world. Emotional shouty, sing this bitch. Like a belly.
Just come and go. You know I stay fly. It's a pretty dumb song. It's pretty lame. Actually got suggested to me on a MFC stream, and I was like, this is cool! But it was also probably like 2016 at the time. It's a good song. It kind of bangs, but It's a little annoying. You have to have the taste for that song to like that song. Otherwise, it's just like, shut up. It's one of those. Used to like bubblegum, but then when you're a kid, you had surgery and they let you choose a scent for the gas. I chose bubblegum and have not been able to associate the memories since. Oh my god. That one makes me grateful that I was never gassed for anything. And two, that I never had to pick a scent for it. Bubblegum sounds so pleasant. I'm so sorry. Like, I feel like you made a good choice. And the universe just kind of fucked you on that one, and I'm so sorry. Bubblegum is so good. It's so good. So when the other kids wanted to play bubblegum in a dish, you just ran away and had, like, Vietnam trauma. It was the end of the world. Sometimes I really like a song until I pay attention to the lyrics. Yeah. Sometimes it takes like 10 listen throughs and it's like, wait a second. What's this guy really saying? What are you going on about here, buddy? But to be fair, it literally took a Twitter post to teach me that Angel in the Centerfold was about a nudie mag. After hearing it my whole life. I learned that a couple of years ago. And I was like, wow, it is. Huh. And the song Magazines by Brand New, I learned that a few years earlier, is about jerking off. Leave me alone with my magazines. It's like, why? Why did you release this thinly veiled song? Ah, like my boy Cage. It's like the sky opened and God handed you directly to me. I know it sounds crazy, but so is life. I'm singing. Feeling like your heart is beating only for me. It's such a good song. I don't care if it's about stalking and killing someone. It's such a good song. To be fair, all of his songs are horrible on many levels. He goes beyond. He's very real. If anyone was ever a fan of Idea and Abilities, he has a very similar vibe to them. It's just like spilling out your guts in music. I respect that. I don't respect the stalking and killing, but I respect the spilling your gutsage. Ruh-roh. We're gonna die a lot tonight. Ready, Voya? You have an eye booger. I saw it a minute ago and I wasn't gonna bug you, and now I'm gonna bug you because it's bugging me. The music in here makes me nervous. I don't know why I thought I could do something fun with that. Do I need little blurpies? No. Is there anything else I can do in here? Is that how we got in? Nope. No choice but to get riggedy wrecked. I'm scared. I'm scared. I hear things spawning around me. That's not good. Singing about stalking and killing kept him from actually stalking and killing, then it's to be applauded. It's therapy. It's therapeutic. It's healing. Ow. Why is that a choice? It's healing. Just gotta get it out of your system. Ow. Voya! Voya! You have really long nails. So you either have to stop making biscuits on my chest because that's sensitive skin, or we gotta do your nails. One of the two. Does my arm taste good? Okay. I'm taking too long to attempt to calculate this. Do I have a sword? No. Die! Oh. That was weird. He just fell over. It was very awkward. Is this gonna happen in like stages and phases? FaZe got whooped today. I was watching while I was feeding the zoo. We got whooped. 2-0. G2 murked. What are you asking me to do? Do I look like I think? What is that operating? Do I need to get up to a box? What is your foolishness? No. How do I get on the trolley? What are you opening? I don't think I can or should jump on that. No. Oh, it's the side biddy. It was not the right angle to try and see. Oh yeah, I got stuck in here earlier. Or not earlier, the other day. I remember now. I was dumber than shit. Oh, and then I got it. Ah! It's the three-way one. That sucks. That's bullshit. This is men's work. Ah! You gotta shoot it, goober. What? This is gonna be real good. Buckle up. You gotta shoot the second thing to get through again. You Dorcas. I think it smushed me. Took too long. Golly. Golly gee willikers, Batman. How do I get on the train? Where's the train? You look like something to get into.
The Godmaker needs Earth and its souls.
Choo choo!
The culling allows her people to replenish their resources and survive. If you save your moon, you know hers well.
It's like we're in oh, I can't shoot.
Up ahead is Calabas, the sightless judge.
We're in Hell and Disenchanted. It's just like the HD version. The rest will be discarded to the blood swamps. Okay. The blood swamps. Where are we going hiking today? The blood swamps. Battle through the soul cat factory. Destroy the eyes of Calabas. Kielbasa. Whoa. At least it didn't drop me in the lava. Whoa. I guess that means that. And that's probably gonna hurt me when it hits me. That's lava. That's still lava. That's still lava. Did we get the eye? Oh! Shield up? No, no shield up? No schmammo. Shit. Ah! Ah! Hey. can't shield in here. Oh, I'm just standing here getting rocked. This is a weird room. I know, Bean. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. The floor is lava. Like, awkwardly on the side here. Void is just sitting there. She's so weird. What is she doing? Is she listening? The floor is lava. Oh, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Is there rockets over there? I guess I probably should be using rockets then. Do they have stamina bars? No, that's stupid. Who's hitting me now? You. Don't do that. You and your nonsense. I don't even think that's gonna hit that from there. Oh, we got one? Maybe? Something made dramatic sounds. I don't know where I'm trying to go here. Why are you here? You're what you are what made sounds. Oh, I wasted that on you. Oh, we have the shield with the chain. Oh, I wasted it. Practice round. The most practicey practice round that ever practice rounded. Oh, I was gonna blurp him real good. But no. That's why I don't dash sideways. You're fire! Don't do that. Where are you? No. Get out of the fire. Do better. Okay. I think that's a good. Oh. Did it checkpoint right there? That would be even funnier. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Maybe this room is only in... Shit, I don't think it's saved. Why am I crying? My eye is just suddenly watering. Maybe this room is only on easy and they replace it with a different room on difficult mode. Alright, I think we got him. Brain looking thing looks like a weird looking butt. That's fire. Fire bad. Fire bad, Serena. I don't think there's anything else in here. How do we get up on that? Are you the answer? You're green. Green means go. Crawling up this brain's asshole here. Oh my god. I don't think I meant to go that way. Oh, maybe? I feel like we can. Nope, no dashy. No dashy. The what of the what of the what? Need to go sideways? No? Oh. Okay. Okay. When in doubt, shoot. That's not a bad idea. Shoot him up the butt. Maybe? I mean, it's bleeding. I don't know. Take it. Take it, bitch. Me up to... Doom guy, you needed to put on better boots today? I jumped through it. Oh, that's nasty. That's nasty. That's nasty, nasty. I don't even know how I got through that. I jumped in the right hole. I don't know. Ew. Bloop. Oh, literally nothing changed in here. There are some big steps. I'm in trouble. What do? You do that. I'm in a corner. It's not safe. It's not safe. What? 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 No. No. Naughty. Naughty. That was effective. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. What was just behind me? You. But what? I guess that's how we open doors. Now I know. I want to know what was the other way in the other room. I don't like the not knowing. You got a coin. The coins in here look very similar to... Oops. The coins in... that we pick up in The Devil in Me. They're having a lover's quarrel. I don't think that is the way. I feel like they could save a lot of lives with all this floating around here. This could be put to better use. You're lit up green. Are you like possibly a secret wall? No. I feel like that's more a Wolfenstein thing, but you never know. Oh, fuck that. Oh, really? That's not cool. Guys. You don't do that. Oh, we did it. We did it. We got there. No, use the Ghostbusters with the wrong guy. Ghostbusters! Ghostbusters! That is the best thing ever. Swear to fuck. Oh, you're not though. Yay. Yay! Ghostbuster! Oh, you're in big trouble. Toxic. Double toxic. Probably could have gotten more out of that than what I intended, but hey. We maybe live to see another day. It's a distinct possibility. Oh, fuck. Erm, and you? They're in oh, is there a fiery guy somewhere? This is not okay. This is very not okay. 50 Shades of fucked. God. It's not good. Where's the fire guy? Where's the fire guy? He's gotta be up somewhere controlling everything. That was not him. BFG cell. Let's go. Where's the guy? Where's the guy? Let me at him. Let me at him. Let me at him. Let me at him. No, 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 no! There's nowhere to go. Are you still alive? Really? Son of a bitch. My focus and determination strictly on this is going to be the end of me, and I just don't care. That was worth it. H.H. Holmes confirmed demon. I mean, he does literally say in his deposition, I believe, I am the devil. Something about bury me deep and bury me good because I will be back. I am the devil reincarnate. So, I mean, devil, demon, same diff. Mostly. Like, it just depends on, like, hierarchy. Demon is like beta, devil is like alpha. This is interesting. Oh, of course it brings us back to over here. Okay. God. Excellent entry. GG's. Beautiful. Miraculous. Marvelous. Oh. Chain gun for you. Oh, you're joining me up on the rooftop here. We're having a nice little romantic evening. That's cute. It's very cute. Way too fast here with this at the moment, my friend. Don't need to be using. Oh yeah, I do want that. JKs. Ghostbusters! Oh wait, that's the other one. Not this one. Ghostbusters! I don't know. For some reason, I thought that would work like a grenade, despite never bothering to try it like that before. It did not blow up the hallway. Stop stepping in the jumpy! Stop it. Stop it. Gotta go. Falsehoods. Oh, you're a big boy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Get out of the corner! So much happening right now. This is not necessary. And them guys are out now. So that's just great. Up. Up, up, and away. Up, up, and away. Now, where's my fire friend? Annihilated. He is annihilated. Now, I will be too, but that's okay. We accept that. We live, we learn. Live, laugh, love. Live, laugh, love. That's all it's gotta be, is live, laugh, love. You know, stop shooting the pillar, that would help. Okay. Overkill. Let's go! And someone grumbling. Let me chainsaw you. Insufficient fuel. That's what I thought. The pop sounds for this tomato execution make you smile each time. They just blurp. Oh, no, no more. Bloop. Bloop. I hear someone grumbling still somewhere. Who can I farm health from? Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. We survived, that was not bad. It wasn't good, but it was not bad. There's more healthies. Scoop up the loot. Give me the loot, give me the loot. What? I don't think I'd go under that. What's your perspective on that from over yonder there, friend? What? Oh. Watch where you're walking there. The what? You don't make sense. That's where we came from. Why are you using the good ammo for that? I find that hard to believe. That's a thing. Maybe I was supposed to use that to kill someone? And I don't know. Further over yonder. So where did I go sideways from before? Maybe I need to backtrack from that? That's disappointing. I think so. They said, girl, you go in circles now. I don't even know where I started forward tracking from. It's unhelpful. It's just doors. Shit. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. The big smasher is just for smashing. Thank you for clarifying that. I had a feeling. A little bummed I didn't use it, but that's okay. Smasher for smashing. At what point did I go one way instead of the other? This way versus here? Woo! Auto map acquired. That does not really take me any closer to that. Stupid glowy light, let me through you. I was not how to do that. Ah! Can we get here from there? Probably not. No. Schnope. Oh, now we're back up over here, though. Oh, that actually worked. That was awkward as fuck, but that actually worked. Ah! Grab it! What? Hello, Privyat. Oh god. Hi, everybody. Nerve-wracking. Down, down, down in the burning pits of doom hell. Down, down, down. Now we're going up. The song no longer applies. It's a lie. It's a falsehood. Like, I'm much more careful about not stepping in the blood than, like, not stepping in the lava. What is your... function here, my friend. And I thought this was bad outdoors. Flying around the fiery bits. Oh god. My eye won't stop watering. I'm just crying because the game is so beautiful. My sinus is swollen. I have a theory that Johnny Cash wrote the Ring of Fire after a especially spicy bowl of chili. I could see that. Maybe after a little bit of a spicy Taco Tuesday. Oh, I don't know why that reminds me, but it reminds me. I started watching Crapopolis because it came up on my Netflix feed. And it was like, leaving September 14th. And I'm about halfway through. I need to go in the bathroom for a minute. But it's funny. It's very cute. I like the voice actors on it. It's a good suggestion. I think Void has been enjoying it as well. It's very funny. It's not as silly as I thought it would be. And I appreciate that. And whoever the heck Maurice from the IT crowd, his voice is kind of soothing to fall asleep to. It's easy to listen to. It's very well done. Good suggestion. Good suggestion. Need to go dab my eyeball with a tissue. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that last name. Richard Ayo. That works. I don't know, I got no solution for that one. It's just happening. I don't remember if this is to shake. Because it's not carbonated. Shake well before opening. This is a lazy shake well. Ayawadi? It sounds almost Japanese. I don't know what his nationality is. It's been sitting for a while. The top is dusty. I don't know where to get through you. Is that a... Wait, is that a ledge? No. We need glasses for this. Hello, little Miss Tiny. Oh, come here, baby. Come here. Hello. I learned while getting ready for my first stream today and during my first stream today. She only wants to be on your lap if you're petting her, unless she's asleep. Otherwise, she just moves on to her own little fun in life. Slavka, you're adorable. I love you. Is the camera frozen? Like, Void has been sitting up for forever. No? Okay. That's how she's comfy at the moment. She was a little spicy earlier. I think the babies were sitting weird inside of her. She scritched me a couple times. Slavka knows what she wants, and what she wants right now is to lick my leg. She said that's top priority in life. Someone isn't paying direct attention to me, I might wonder. Fair. Are you also a tiny demon girl? You're so silly. She said there's exposed skin. I need to lick it. Oh, there's a climbing patch. Your tongue is so rough. She has the roughest tongue of any cat ever. I swears to the gods. I feel like that's gonna burn me when it turns. Yep, I'm a rotisserie chicken. I don't know where to go from here. I'm just gonna stand up here and get set on fire for a while. I wish it wouldn't, like, block my view. Can we jump over that? No. Oh! That's awkward, but okay. Huh? Tiny in spirit. Oh no! Oh no! I am a spirit. But where's the third wall? I feel like finding it will break the fourth wall. Where? Where are you? I don't know where you are. I can't see you. Is that it over there? Okay. Good attempt. That's fantastic. Hi, Tiny. You're so cute and little. Who made you so cute and little? There's gonna be even tinier ones than you here soon. Did you know? Tank definitely knows. He is so excited by my smells after I've been in with her. I'm guessing we take that up. To where? I don't know. There. A floor. A door. Oh, your tongue is so rough. It hurts. Oh my god. It's like when you're using a Dremel and then you nick yourself with it. Like, it doesn't hurt, but it's like, ah. Of course. Of course. Oh, horse is a horse is a horse, of course. My name is Mr. Ed. Where's my fire friend? Where are you? Where are you? We're not doing this shit. We're not. You're up there. You fucking son of a bitch. I think. Looks like him. No, that's a fun thing. Oh wait, are you just... No, just you are empowered. Oh, I wasted my extra life. Your girl is just trying to observe the arena. Like to do a walkabout before I buy, you know. You know what? You're a stinky butt. Roger Dodger ass bitch. I don't see him. Wasn't there at some point a ruin? Or something that made them turn red also? It's a totem. Thank you. I'm looking for the wrong thing. I forgot what it looks like though. It's not good. Oh, it says right at the top. Ghostbusters! I don't know if that's actually gonna be a good idea. Did it get him? I don't know if that was worth it. Ah! This is so bad. Okay, headbutt. Butthead head button. Panic shooting is strong. And I'm dead and Slavka is on her way. Okay. It was the red. Oh, what I thought was a challenge starter or whatever the hell it is. Oh my god. Okay, we gotta get up to that thing. Okay. Bouncy, 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 bouncy. Bouncy, bouncy. Bouncy, bouncy. Don't throw things at me. No! So close. You are not going to survive down here. You need to get your ass up to the thing. It's just, you gotta understand that's not gonna happen, Serena. It's not gonna happen. It's a no. It's a no. Oh, he looks cool up close in black and white. Oh, I was gonna try and die for that. That was neat. They're like extra detailed. That was cool. It was pleasing. It was appeasing. I hear Go-Go. What are you doing, Go-Go? What does he have? Is there a bug? What? My children are so weird. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know. I know nothing. What you doing with your fuzzy butt, Ringo? Oh, Slavka, did I close the door? Guess what? You can open it. You can open it. Gotta build those biceps, girl. Meow. Boy doesn't want to be poked at tonight. Oi. Oi, oi, oi. He dodges the rockets, that's pointless. Well, it's not gonna work on you. All he does is just shake his head like, huh, that felt like something. Oh, 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 oh. No. Ghostbusters! No, get back down here. Thank you. That was mildly better. I don't even know if this is the way across, but let's go. How do I destroy that? That way. What do I do with you? Their spiky shoulders look like shoulder pads. Can't unsee it. That's beautiful aim. That was the best. What are you two doing your little keep away for? Where'd your buddy go? There you are. He's just having fun with this. You never asked to get signed up for the demon army. Hi, Slavushka. Thought you'd jump down faster. Hi. What's up, teeny bopper? Meow. Meow. That's behind walls anyway. So where do we go from here? That is ultimately the way. But how do we get through the way? I do not know the way. I'm gonna try and dash from there to there and grab the extra armor. Nope. How would I get over there? Boop. Oh, that's way closer and easier. Hee hee. Green means go? Or did we come in that way? I think we came in that way. No. We came in the doors. Green means go. No. But that has to mean something. You're not gonna be able to jump up to that. It's a valiant effort, but no. Ooh. Can you jump over there from up here? Oh, I hit my head. Ah! Aren't you a schmancy little fugger? Am I ready to press you? I guess. Checkpoint reached. Got a feed ring going a few. I think we'll play until like 1 my time tonight. Was able to snag a few Z's this morning. That was good. Got like 4.5 hours of sleep. It was beautiful. What did that accomplish? I'm just up here now? There's spiky things, in case no one else knew. There's spiky things. I feel like that's right, but not. Oh my god. You're insufferable. Game, I love you, but you are insufferable. Just let me in. I'm sure there's a bunch of demons that want to eat me. Just let me in. Someone's doing something stupid again. What are you doing? Who is doing what? I slept poorly last night. Been fighting off the eeps since lunch. Oof. That's rough. I think it was yesterday. You said the day was like weirdly long and exhausting. So I feel for you. It makes sense. We can blame it on that. That's no fun. The zoo is acting like there's a full moon. Void bit and scratched me today. Slavka's been insane, but that's not any news. Everyone else has been weird today. Ringo's being a goober. Void is just sitting there like a statue, weird as shit. I don't know. She's gonna lay eggs or something. It is coming soon, because after Void bit me, and then Chauncey was being sassy in the yard, it's like, is it a full moon? Just gotta check to make sure. I'm gonna have to consult the professionals on this. I don't know what the fuck you are telling me to do. That's the obvious choice, but I don't got hops. No, and now I'm all the way down again. Bananas. Slavko would be a calm, mellow cat for the full moon antics. Perhaps. We'll have to see. Oh wait, I took that to there before. So wait a second. What is this tomfoolery? What is my MO here? What did... So, no. We're consulting the professionals. You have befuddled me, game. Crash, bang, boom. Void finally moved. What the French toast? Are we still in? Oh, no. Are we still in Terrace Nabat? That's a good question. That's a very good question. I was fucking with YouTube earlier. Although, I mean, I do simp for me, but still. Oh, we're way past here. Urdak. We're in Necroval, I think. I feel like I remember seeing that when we started.
Erdak is the mayor's homeroom.
Oh yeah, because we went back to the ship, and that was the last time I could go back to the ship. No, this is too far forward. Something to look forward to. Okay. Now what the fucking what do? So I have to go back? I don't want to go back. I didn't sign up for that. Just grabbed my phone as the controller. If it's who it looks like it is, we're gonna be just peeking. And then I'm gonna die, and then I'm gonna feed Ringo. Then I'm gonna die some more. Alright, someone is in the bathroom. Alright, Pibby or cats? What are you doing? What are you doing? What is your choice? No? Then what are you doing? Hi. You got a cup in the tub that you're knocking around. That's what I'm hearing. Chauncey's bath cup is in the tub, and that's what I heard knocking around. Go! That was useless. Haha! It's too much fun. Why does it have to be both of you? Like, my two worst enemies in one situation. We're not surviving this. There's no surviving this. I'm Serena. I do not survive. I categorically do not survive. Let me out of the corner! I have no chance! Oh, 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 oh. I'm gonna fall off of something at some point here. Out of fuel, son of a bitch. Should have saved that BFG. Oh, fucker. Stop going in the corner. Oh, we have more space out here. Okay. I thought I was gonna fall off something out here. Please fucking die. Please, just fucking do the dead. Do the dead. Doing that damn creature. I don't want to call it what it is, because then I remember what it is, but I'm dead. I feel like if I had enough health there, though, that would have connected to him, and that would have gotten him. But I was too slow. Day late, $1 short. Okay. You guys are in charge of the arena. Make sure no demons come for the boys or the tiny demon girl. And feed Go-Go's really quick. Horse puppy dinner. I wonder how much he weighs now. Like, I don't want him to have a reason to go to the vet. I want to know how much he weighs now. I cannot pick him up to hold him on the scale like I can with the cats. Doesn't work that way. I can only get about as far as Diesel, and Diesel's like 70 pounds. That's my limit. Trying to hold and balance on a scale, that is. If only I could have them jump on my back like piggyback style. That would be best. Mr. Bean, you're very cute. BRB. Burp burp. Sharps. Got sharps going on. Yeah, sharps exactly. Sharps exactly. Good boy. Good boy. You see this one? You got big paws. You got big bear paws. He makes biscuits while I'm doing it sometimes. I think that's his passive way of saying do not want. You got one more toe. Oh, that nail, that's your wonky nail. I forgot. That's why you're sensitive. Voya has 3 wonky nails, and he's missing 2 nails. There's this one back nail that always grows out way extra. And he's missing a toe over, or a nail over here, and he's missing a nail over here. Those are getting a little obnoxious. That one's a weird one too. This one never grows. You went through so much outside, now you have the softest little feet. Now he's all lovey, like, please don't ever do that again, Mom. I'll be good, I'll be cute, I promise, I swear. Now you don't stab me in the back. Literally. It's simple. It's simple, my son. I love you. Are you ready to get the guy? You gonna get him? No, you just use your paws on these. He's like, no, it's not for me. No. No. Good alarm clock though, if only you can get the timing to work out. What's a good alarm clock? I don't know what I said. That it's snuggle o'clock. Hey. Oh, the claws on the back? Yeah. Sometimes he does it gentle and it's like a little back rub and it's so nice. But that's usually when I'm like squatted down sitting. Bless you. But when I pick him up, he like grabs my back. I don't know. It was very awkward picking him up once I was able to post-surgery, and I think he's still adapting from that. He thinks that I don't have a good hold on. Like, I didn't drop him or anything, but I think he thinks I don't have a good hold on him. Boop. Oh, I love you. You're so damn cute. You're my baby. You're my baby son. You're my everything. You're my world. You're my sweet, sweet boy. Oh, he's being so precious. You're being so precious. Oh, Mr. Sun. Sun. Mr. Golden Sun. Thank you for kisses. He gives me like a going off to work peck. Whoa. Boop. Wait, how did that not take my health? The what? Okay, let's try that again. Very strong start. He's like hiding behind him in his stupid shield. This motherfucker. I'm hitting nothing. Like 1 in every 30 shots is hitting him. Oh, and we're like trapped in there. The gates went down and everything. This is not worth trying to survive through. Boy is like, oh mom, it'll be okay. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. I still love you at the end of the day. Yeah, dead. Dead. Hello, lover boy. Say, mommy, it's okay. I still love you. Oh, thank you. When I love on him like this, it reminds me of a Pepe Le Pew and the cat he's in love with. Oh, mwah, 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 mwah. My darling, mon chéri, mon petit chou, my baby boo. See, now it's time to chew on mom. It's chew on mom o'clock. It was a tiny little face caress that is predating his tac time. Tac time. Tac time. Arr, 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 arr. You're a little pibble. Don't hit me. That's my leg. Why are you going to chew on my leg? I'm exposing you. Exposing you to the world. Ow! Ow! That's sensitive spots. I'm looking at Void. Void's looking at us. It's sensitive. Sensitive spots. That's my wrist. It's my wrist. He wants to throw down so bad right now. He's gonna hit me. No. No. Mr. Bean. Go get your toys. Go get Slavka. Fuck with Slavka. My boy. My little wild man. You got floofers up my schnoodle. There's so much hair flying everywhere. My little saucy man. My saucy sarsaparilla. Oop. That doesn't hurt you though. That baffles me. I need to not be trying to grab that first. It's not the way of the world here. What do you think you're doing, woman? Ghostbusters! Oh, it's the other gun. Ghostbusters! Oh, that was unfortunate. Yikes! Why are you so close? Stop unleashing the beast upon me. He's such a bitch about chasing me in corners. Fuck. Just makes me feel better inside to pretend that does something. Oh, you stinker. You stinky little butt. How did you spawn you twice? He looks so victorious. He's just standing over you like, I am the beast. So victorious. Good for you, buddy. Good for you. I feel like Boya gets so annoyed by Slavko, but he's like waiting for her by the door. Now he wants to play with her. I always want what you can't have, huh, buddy? The mildly good choices? Oh, he's still alive. Stupid cunt. Oh, there's a little side path? What does that do? What's there? What? Oh, no, there's not. I just thought there was. That's cute. Out of fuel. No fuel for you. Are rockets the way in here? I feel like what's best for him depends on the arena, which is so weird. Like, clearly in the other room, the chain gun was the best. In here, rocket is beastin'. That's interesting. Hey, caramba. Be pretty smug too if I could summon cyber hounds. Ah, true. That's a good point. Wish there was the way that like the rockets blew off his shield. Just die, you fucking cunt. Last stand. Ghostbusters! Do it for the Ghostbusters. Do it for the Ghostbusters. He is such a rotten motherfucker. The Marauder. Marauder motherfucker. He not my friend. Dude, what's... Oh, I guess it just destroys my armor. Okay, fair. It's kind of pointless to use the shield with nothing whacking at me, but I won in Rome. Do as the Romans. That's the wall. Serena hit the wall. Get out of there! Oh, no, we want this one. Oh, shit. I think I have a rhythm put together, but we will not get him this round. He's a none yet godded. No. He needs rockets. His beast needs something else. Try and swap between them too. The shotgun in this game, I wish I loved more. Both of them. I don't feel confident with either of them. Doom 3, the shotgun is my favorite. Like, we'll mow through 99% of the game with that. And I miss that. I miss it. I miss it. Shotgun and I are just not simpatico in here. We're just not. Ghostbusters. I think he's still alive. Where are you, fucker? Replenish that a little bitty. That's pretty wasteful. He moves like an anime character. Shit. It's right there. Okay, stop hyperfixating on that and replenish yourself. Do good things here. Do good things in life. Oh no, don't miss. Oh, stinker. I need something to replenish me. This is not good. Please die. Oh. I'm so very in trouble. Get places. Get places. Oh. Almost. We got so close. So close. So close to the guy I needed and so close to getting him. Not like they're using the shotgun, they're using the whatever the Star Trek gun is. I can't remember what it was called. And the little bitty for it. I feel like that's probably the profesh way to do it. But I like my way, but clearly it's not working well. Alright. That was accidentally accomplished. That was cool. Could have just punched him, Serena. That's what you needed to do. It was maybe a little bit of overkill. Maybe, just maybe, a little. I did not need that health. I felt like I did. Why are games so good at that? Making you think you're so close to death. And you're not. We can do this. We've got this. Maybe. Probably not, but you never know. Probably not. Learn to aim. Shit, that was the wall, Serena. Healthies. Little baby bit healthies. One rocket. Oh! 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 Yes! Finally! Thank God. Oh. We are redeemed. We did it. I don't know how, but it has been done. Is that all gonna open the door now? Okay. Open sesame. That was an awfully complicated lock. Thank you. Thank you. You little bitch. You got hops. He said boink. Bouncy baboo. Well, we're getting a BFG cell, so that's promising. I'm not ready for this. Well, you're in trouble. Ghostbusters! This is gonna be bad. Where is he? I want the sword back. I don't by chance have the sword, right? No. Dang it. Oh, that was not good timing. Woman. What do you think you are doing? You don't know. That's the problem. You can just stop. That's how we know I don't play Call of Duty. No jump trick shots for this girl. That's not the gun I thought I had. I guess we're out of ammo in the one I wanted. Uh-oh. Oh. I need to do something to that. I don't remember what. That's how I got the sword? Sword. We have the sword now. I think that's what that meant. Everyone just needs to chill. You're still alive. Sorry, man. That was probably pretty uncomfortable. No! Not you! Not two of you! Not you two! Come on. Missile incoming. From who? From who? Who has the... Oh, from the floaty guys. They shoot missiles. I forgot about that. Nope, nope. No Ghostbusters for you. Get... the woman... What is behind me giving negative energy vibes? Everyone. Everyone doing everything. This isn't, you know, fucking brutal or anything. Yeah? You're probably gonna die. Still worth the fun of it. Whenever they give you the BFG ammo, it's about to get real. Damn straight. Have concerns. It's like in Doom 3, my hands naturally just start sweating as soon as I get the soul cube. Wave A. I'm just not effective with the shotgun in here. I don't know if I need to or not, but I feel like I need to be too still with it. And it doesn't mesh with my new learning to not camp style. Oh, fuck. Forgot as soon as you go forward, it's trouble time. Trouble time. I think I'm really only doing myself a disservice here. Ghostbusters. What predicament have I put myself into here? Why are you still alive? You have no business being alive. That was satisfying. Could he not get past his own shield? That was weird. It was glitchy, I don't know. Ghostbusters. I don't really want to go that way yet, but here we are. Oh, a waste. Purely a waste. I don't think that's how we want to do any of this. Shoot at everything, hit nothing. Okay, I did grab the BFG cube. Jumpy, jumpy, jumpy. I feel like I should save this, but We can grab the sword and then get the other guy. Yes, I think, maybe. No, fuck. Fuck. How did that not, that only gets half of you? You stupid cunt. Forbidden little bitch.
Once the spirit is broken and enough pain has been
What else is in here?
only when the human has lost all hope. Transfer to the soul.
Never lose all hope. There's always hope. Something was shooting something. Unless I was just hearing something open. Not having a 75-cent vocabulary tonight. Oh. I thought I booped you? I did not boop you. Now you are booped. You stomp through the floor. What does it even mean? Where are you going? I feel like that was so easy to grab before. Not anymore. Oh, there's spikes. I thought it was fire. I didn't even know it was poking my butt. How do we get through this ass crack now? You puzzle me. You know, just dash into it, although that was kind of a strange feeling. Freezing with the side of turbulence. We came from up there, didn't we? Lara Croft. No, we got locked out on the side. Like, am I expected to go here? I don't understand you. I don't feel like this is right. Oh, this is not a fun house. It's at 12:30. How the fuck is it 12:50 already? Fast travel unlocked. I don't know how important that may or may not be. Ah! Face first is how we break into the ass crack. Sounds about right. There's a dark corridor somewhere. Where was it? Spiders! Just spiders! What was this? Oh, that's just there. Whee! Oh, I thought I was gonna jump on the bouncer bit. Oh, it was the other way. Whee! And in we go! Oh, it's the end of the level! I thought we were just... Oh, I wanted to look at the things. Dang it. I thought we were just complimenting my gameplay style. We really were at the end of the level. Necrovault Part 2. It's so bad they gotta split it up into 2 parts. Breezy with a chance of hiccups. I'll take hiccups over kickups. Restream wasn't working last night because I've been streaming strictly through Restream instead of like just through Kick or just through Twitch. So it's easier to grab my VODs because the Kickbot downloader for VODs wasn't working for me for a while. Uh-oh. 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 It wasn't working. I don't know what the point I was trying to make with that was. Oh, Kickups. Thankfully it worked tonight. Meow. Aw, Void is ready for love. She's ready for love. Let's see what's going on in here a little bit. I feel like we're in a haunted house. One of the local haunted houses is a catwalk set up similarly to this style. Like as you go in. It's really cool.
Inside that citadel is the soul extraction chamber.
They're going to take my soul. They're going to take my soul. Can't take Doom Guy's soul. Or Doom Girl's soul. We got like a softcore Doom Guy cosplay going on tonight. I think I match him. I don't remember if we have the same green. It looks like the same green as the menu. It sure is all fluffy. Thank you, Boya. Honestly, they do a fantastic job with it. Or at least they used to. They got bought by something corporate. Either right after or like within the Panini. Somewhere around there. And I haven't been there since. But the haunted house that my buddy works at got bought by something corporate too a couple years ago. It's like, it hasn't changed much, but it also has changed a lot. It doesn't really change for what the actors can do, but it changes for what can like be provided to them, which kind of sucks. Nom 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 nom. And they get less control on themes, which sucks. Wait, where you want me to go? A wall! Up and away. Fire. Fire bad. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, what? Well, huh? I like gripped but didn't. That was a weird one. Oh, that was nifty. Oh, there's another one of you. Ghostbusters! I love that. But then they don't really make the satisfying sounds when they die that way. Sad. They just sploot. They sploot. Only sploot. Boop! Good for small businesses to get bought, but corporate usually ruins it in some way or another. Yeah, I mean it gives the business owner a lot more cushioning in the background, a lot less stress and hassle to deal with. You can focus on actually running the business instead of doing all of the background shit, which is phenomenal. But then you lose control of things like pricing and hours and regulations, and I'm speaking mostly from the knowledge of like how the vet industry has gone corporate, but I feel like that mostly applies to everything. Mostly. Oh, where do we go from here? Oh no. Oh no, I'm faster than the fire. I don't know. Where to go is a good question. I'm just gonna light myself on fire a little bit. I'm thinking that way, but not like that. The vet industry is going in the way of human healthcare. I mean, it was a good idea to do anyway, but when I was at emergency with Ringo, one of the times is when they suggested I get pet insurance for him. And Ringo has insurance. Just because he's such a big dog, like any surgery for him would be huge. You're never going to pick that up, so just stop. Enough. Enough. But it sucks. I mean, like, at least in the US, like, for healthcare, for people, because we have, God, it's either Medicare or Medicaid. I can never remember which one is for when you don't have a lot of money or when you just get old. And that's why hospitals have to accept you no matter what. Like, even if you're broke, even if you don't have insurance, even if you have nothing, they have to because of that. What you doing, Miss Void? But there's nothing like that for pets, which makes them going corporate very difficult in comparison to human terms. Her little tongue. What are you doing? She says, Mother, I would like your company now. Give me like 2 more minutes and 1 more death void. And then I'll be in. She has such big green eyes. She's so expressive and cute. Oh my goodness. It's one of those things that my brain is never going to remember which is which, unfortunately. Because for a good chunk of time, I was on the one for people that don't make a lot of money. Like in my early 20s. Medicaid is for low money, Medicare for the olds. So I was on Medicaid for a while. She is looking right at the camera. I swear she knows it's there. She's getting fussy with the litter box, like jumping in and out of it, and her blood work is good, so I don't think she has an infection or anything, and she also got an antibiotic, so she would be fighting an infection even if she had one. But I think, I don't know, I wonder if like with cats, like how pregnant women pee a lot because the baby's pushing on the bladder. I wonder if she's making a fine, right mess of everything there. I wonder if the babies are like pushing on her organs. Like it's awkward to pee. Little big talker. Be in there in a minute, darling. Where did I take us to? Oh yeah, we jumped over that. Did tomato head guys just not spawn that time? I need to chainsaw somebody. There's a sword in here. That's not gonna go well. That's lovely, but terrible. That looked like that caused him some significant misery. That was cool. What in the Soundwave portal are you doing, sir? Who said what? Oh ho ho ho. What is talking? Am I like having a stroke? Tim? Where are you? What is this stinky little bastard? He's like an easy peasy lemon squeezy guy. Why was that so awkward? That was very awkward. You smell toast. No, but I was hearing things. I was hearing things that sounded like I was about to be toasted. Welcome, Cornographic. I hope the week's being kind to you. BFG ammo pickups are found in the world. They appear on the auto map. Okay. Bloop. A napalm belch. That sounds spicy. I'm feeling we're not going to spend long in here. It's pretty though, but it's terrible. I timed you out the last time you were here. You're devastated, crying for weeks. You survived. It's because you're tough. You survived. You made it back in one piece. Proud of you. Me, I don't think I'm gonna make it out of here in one piece. Well, I don't just press buttons for no reason. I only have fun with my buttons in Discord. That's why I don't have the Autobots set up. I am the Decepticon, that's why. Ghostbusters! Oh, he interrupted my Ghostbusters. That was so rude. Buddy, you gotta calm down your speed for a moment here. Oh no. Oh no. Need a little guy. There he is. I much prefer when they explode versus just die and fall down. I don't realize they're deads. Miss tonight. It's gonna change my gamer tag too on everything. Miss. Sploot. Oh, we don't need all that going on there. You look like a drunk guy at a bar coming in for a hug. Hey, how you doing? Nice to see ya. It was uncomfortable. No, Ghostbusters! Shit. Ghostbusters. Do. Oh god, no. I had to get cocky. I had to have fun for a minute. No fun allowed. No fun allowed. Let me up. See, why can we climb some tall walls and not other tall walls? That's wall discrimination. Shit. Missiles, incomings. Yeah. These remind me of the belfries in Spyro. It's weird. Chain gun. There's two of you. You and your twinsy. This is intense. And it was a firefight. Drunk guy bar hug. You can smell everything they've drank that night. Whoa. Do I have super sight? Overdrive? What? I am the most powerful thing there ever was. I don't know why or for how long or what for, but hey, that's cool. Alright, one of you guys is somewhere. Give me good stuff. I don't mind the smell of alcohol, but I hate the smell of alcohol breath. Alcohol breath is so nasty. I would rather you smell like you lick an ashtray 24/7 than have alcohol breath. It's just, oh. Not good. You're a tougher guy than you look. Indeed you, but you're in front of troubles. That's a fair choice, Chronographic. I hope the night treats you well. Keep calm and goon on. Ghostbusters! Do we still have the sword? Oh, we do still have a little bit of sword. In case we need it. We got the good stuff. We got the goods. We got the goods. It's a very pungent smell, and it's one of those smells. It's like weed. When you try to hide it, it's like worse. Not a fan. I was at Target the other day. Someone smelled really boozy. I was like, phew. But like boozy and like mouthwashy. Like you just smell like antiseptic, but not the clean kind. A dirty antiseptic. Can't do it. It's gross. I don't remember which way I came from. That's where we're supposed to go. I feel like there's still stuff somewhere. I don't know. Does it matter? Not really. Not the most. I lost my way. Through this corridor. I'm guessing the map is going to be a checkpoint. No. Whenever we hit checkpoint, it's bad time. Even though we're having good times, it'll be bad time. I'm guessing I jump over to that, but that doesn't look right, but okay. Damn, we're flying! I only credit the switching of caffeine for that. Although these are half levels. They don't really count. Because it's part 1 and part 2. Maybe physically moving fast, but I'm not mentally moving fast through this. We just jump all the way down? Like, I don't think that's right. Green means go. Slide! Alright. I think someone's still alive under that blanket. It's moving. Uh-oh. Still the same number of arenas in the non-half levels. Maybe it feels zoomier because we're indoors. Well, kind of. We're broadly indoors. I had a theory with this. It did not come to fruition. Oh, buddy. That wasn't cool. Ghostbusters! Oh, I can't Ghostbusters when I'm dying. That sucks. Something's gotta give me some goods here. You. His head was like glitching out sideways. That was so uncomfortable. It was highly awkward. Well, something troublesome is in here, and that's really not fucking good. Who's lighting me on fire? Fuck you. Oh, God, fuck you. I should have known it was you. This version of him is more cool and badass, and I kind of like it better than the version of him in Doom 3. It's more irritating to try and kill him like this. But I like this version of him. It's pretty cool. Where is you? Getting hit by rockets. Okay, let's attempt to survive for a moment. Or not. I don't want to leave off here. But the zoo wants to eat, and Void wants love. You gotta play on, like, her timetable. You can't really love on her just, like, anytime. It has to be her time to be in the mood for it. I don't want to miss out on that. So here we shall pause, even though my ego is screaming, "You can kill him, just try one more time!" But I know one more time will turn into 10 more times will turn into another hour, and it's not a positive choice. I hate being responsible. I mean, I'm very lucky and spoiled and privileged in the sense that I can pretty much live a life where I do whatever the fuck I want, and I can be as irresponsible as I want, although I am quite responsible, but like... See, MILFing comes first. I spent my upgrade tokens, which made me stronger. It did add to the health portion. That's probably helpful. You're doing a self-imposed hard mode by not spending them. I didn't know how to spend them. I'm not a shopping girly. I didn't know how to spend them. You know for next time now. Thank you, PlayStation. Good night. You are good to us tonight. I appreciate you. You wonderful, wonderful beastie. Is she on this side or the other side? She's talking to where she can face the door right now. She says, Serena, come and love on me. Come and love on me. My lips will be tired after that. Give every member of the zoo a smooch from Club Cult. They will all get smooches. They're gonna want dinner first, and then they'll want smooches. Aw, thank you. It has been a pleasure and a treat tonight. I'm glad I got to be here. Glad we got to chill. And thank you. I hope you get some good eeps too. At least it's the weekend. But I hope the day is winding down. You can get some good rest tonight. It's been a wonky week. Everyone cross fingers and pause for... I don't know if my vet's open tomorrow, but no babies tonight. Void'll just have to get extra head pats. I haven't smooched her yet. And she was a little saucy with me today. I don't know how she feels about that. She's so funny. In the first tent, or the second tent, where I had the camera on before, she loves lovin's. In the first tent where she is now, she gets so spicy with me. I don't know if that's her territorializing. I don't know. It's interesting. I did put a little scratcher and some toys in there for her, though. I figured she's probably bored. Like, I thought she was gonna pop, like, instantaneously when I got her in there. Not instantaneously, but pretty close to it. But I put some scratchers and some toys in there for her, so hopefully she's amused by that. I don't know if she knows what toys are, but... a scratcher so we can scratch the food lady? Let's go. Crossing fingers and paws that the cat doula gets the night off. Me too. Me too. It's exciting, but it's nerve-wracking. But it's exciting. Oh, snap. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. You awesome human. I appreciate you. You are wonderful. Thank you. Thank you oh so very much. Aw, even Void says thank you. Thank you for being the wonderful human that you are. Thank you for supporting the Stream the Dreams project. Merci beaucoup. Boys, you want some treats? Thank you for triggering Voya. He's Pavloved as fuck. We love that for him. There it is. It doesn't pop up in chat anymore, but it does on my activity feed. Thank you for the 16 months. I was like, wait, it's somewhere over a year, but what is time anyway? Thank you for the 16 months. That is a phenomenal dedication to Club Cult, Stream the Dreams project, and the Zoo crew. And we salute you! And Voya says, give me snacks now. Now! Now! He's so fucking Pavlov. We got all the hungries. Oh, maybe it only comes up when you choose to say it now. So, like, other people don't call people out in chat for, like, oh, you're subscribed for 16 months. You're a simp or some stupid shit that broke people say. Broken bitter. Not the only one who likes to press buttons. I like the little thing that I don't know how to toggle that in other streams now. But I don't know, I've never tried it. I haven't sat in on many streams lately. I did a little bit today for G's stream. That was nice. He was playing some COD. I feel like I jinxed him though. He got an upset stomach on stream. Thank you, oh so mucho! Crunchies? Oh boy, I went to come up and totally missed. You missed! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to move out of your way. My bad. My bad. Ready? Sit. Oh, if I can balance. Sit. Sit. Gunther gets a freebie for you. Sit. Sit. Baby son. Thank you. Can you do uppy? 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 You can do it. He's like, no, you just faked out on me, Mom. Good boy. Good job, Big Bear. Gunther, you want to try it? Come on. Up, up. Up, up. I think that was just a phase for Gunther. Oh, we're doing it. There you go. Let him have his crunchy. Say thank you. Say big thank yous. You guys really love those birthday treats. Say big thank yous. Big thank yous. Thank you so very much. We appreciate you. I can't move my chair around your butt. Thank you. So many roles. Entertainer, zoo mom, table, cat navigator. So many roles. Oh my god. See, the funny thing is I would have such an extensive resume, but it wouldn't get me a job anywhere. I have so many accolades to my name, but it wouldn't matter for shit. Cat doula. Soon to be cat doula. Professional Slavka wrangler. Pretty much Steve Irwin. I wouldn't say aspiring, I would say anxious. Anxious cat doula. It's not that we want to do this, it's just happening. I don't think we're gonna have any stingrays in the zoo. I don't think so. Aquariums make me nervous because they require so much balancing and like careful care. I've done plant aquariums before, but I haven't had a fish since I was a kid. I'm afraid to. Because one, they're sensitive and like they're like goats. They die for no reason. And it's annoying. Like goats and chickens just die for no reason sometimes. And it's like, it's a mind fuck. Hurts my heart. I can't do it. But I really liked the little period of time for a couple years where I had a plant aquarium. That was nice. I liked it. But then if I didn't turn the volume off on like my snaps and stuff, everyone thought like someone was peeing in the background. And I got that comment many times. And I think that's why I habitually mute like every video that I post now. Like someone's gonna comment on the background noise. The salt ones especially, yeah, they are hard to balance. Be very careful with it. And then when you have to clean them out, you have to do like the careful little water change and constantly check the pH. And it's, I'm better with dogs and cats. Only thing I'd like to have an aquarium one day for is I'd like a mature beardy. But that's far in the future. The zoo is quite full right now. Just gets fuller, and I keep saying the same thing. The zoo is quite full right now. Oh man. You just got treats, and now you're gonna do eats? Okay. That's fair. Where's Miss Lady Ma'am? Aw, she's in the little bottom right-hand corner. Say goodnight, Void. Serena will be in to snuggle you shortly. Oh, let me up count before I forget. Thank you again. Voya, get off the piano. You're saucy. You're being softcore bad boy tonight. Not hardcore bad boy, but softcore bad boy. Just enough bad boy to be bad boy, but not like worst boy. Just wild man. Sir. Sir. Mr. Sir. Mr. Sir. Come here, you big galunk. My sweet babu. My little hungover raccoon. Love you. Go eat. Get comfy. Buckle up. Buckle up for the outro. Or go swimming in my arms. Where are you going? This is nonsensical. He's like, do you want an anaconda, Mom? I'm here. I can be an anaconda. My anaconda don't want none unless you in Slytherin, son. Dun, na, 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 na. What are you on about right now? You just want to be a flying loaf? Boya says, I'm Superman. You look like you have such a big belly. You're very cute. You're very pretty. Okay. I don't think we're going to stop this awkward love fest anytime soon. So thank you all for a wonderful night. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your chats. Thank you for your support. And thank you for your company. Thank you for your time more than anything. It's very valuable. It's one of those rare things in life that you cannot make more of. You only get so much. And whether it's 2 seconds, 2 minutes, 2 hours, if I don't see you again for 2 years, when our times collide, it is beautiful, magical, amazing, incredible, and wonderful, and fantastical. And I appreciate it very, very much. I do not take that for granted. And please do not ever take your free time for granted either. Oh, this is gonna be an adventure. If you guys would like to keep up with me offline, hop into the slow mode of Serena Spam. The Disky Boo. Where we got some fun stuff. We got the socials. I don't even know what buttons I'm pressing. We got some more fun stuff. You are such a big boy. How are you such a big boy? It's like, Mom's got me. Everything's good. Oh, I just knocked the nail clippers onto the floor. Like, we're never using those again. There's the sketch for when I will see you, Bebs, next. Thank you all for supporting the Stream the Dreams project. And if you have not yet, please do not forget to pre-nominate your fave cosplayer. Voya's like, what? What? My favorite what? Boop, boop, boop. Fave cosplayer for the 2026 Avian Awards. Knocked over the nail clippers. He is such a cat. I love that for him. That was so intentional. I don't think it was intentional, but it felt and looked intentional, and it was hilarious. That was a beautiful cap off for the night. Thank you for providing the entertainment, Voya. Get some good eats tonight. Get some good eats. Get some good sleeps. And I hope everyone's Catterday kicks off phenomenally. Do me one favor before I see you BBs next. That is, remember that you are wonderful, amazing, incredible, spectacular, phenomenal, oh so gorgeous, and all the good things in the world. I think I have fake pockets. Oh, no, these have real pockets. Take all those compliments and put them in your back pocket. Do I have back pockets? I have back pockets too! Damn, that's awesome! Your side pocket, your cute little hoodie pocket, your shirt pocket, floating in suspended animation, or wherever it needs to go until I see you next. You sweet bubbos! Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your Friday evening. Thank you for tuning in for Torture Night, and I shall catch y'all on the flip side.